Hi gardening friends. A few weeks have passed since my last walk through the perennial garden, and I'd like to show you what's blooming now. Hope you enjoy. Beautiful day out. Bit windy, so I hope this turns out. Daylilies have started. Been busy deadheading, cutting back, cutting down. The snow in the summer, I use the weed whacker on. That's the silver ground cover in front, and it's coming back. I had to water it because we didn't have any rain lately, probably for the last 18 days. Parts of Wisconsin got a lot of it, but not us. I'm growing a scarlet runner bean up this trellis here. Just starting to show its pretty little orange-red flower. And it's edible. All of you have watched my videos before know I think that white is so important in the garden. Really brightens up the garden. And a lot of movement in the garden today. The Japanese painted ferns that froze in May are coming back. That's what's so nice about perennials. They're quite hardy. Japanese maple that died to the ground again. It's coming back. I won't see it while I'm here into a big tree, but somebody else will enjoy it. Ligularia, the rocket. Down in the bog area, back behind the ferns. Soon the ferns are going to be flopping if we don't get rain. Persicaria, called Lance Corporal, like the foliage. I'm letting it reseed in this area. Part shade, mostly shade. It'll make a nice ground cover. The berries of, let's see what I call that. Doll's eyes is a common name. I'll be deadheading the hostas soon. This wild area will be a lot of phlox blooming soon, but because it's in the shade, it'll be a little later. My trumpet vine that's on that arch back there, just starting to bloom. Oh, I forgot to show you my tree that snapped off and I'm training back into a tree. Maybe I'll remember later. Now I cut back some of the phlox to bloom later. Some will bloom now. Whoops, I'm getting shaky. I'm sorry. Lot of color right now. The trick is to have color through August and hopefully even September. And if you're really, really lucky and you have good rain and not too hot of temps, I'll have color in October. Right now I'm thankful for this. This is the view I have when I'm doing yoga out on the deck. Lucky me. I am blessed. But I work very hard at this too. I found great enjoyment. I spend many hours deadheading in here. And my 86-year-old mom has been helping me. She does the edges and I go inside. And I cut back, like cranesbill, I cut back all the way in to the ground, and also spiderwort all the way to the ground, in hopes that it'll rebloom for me. Now I have a question. This is a native butterfly weed, and I decided to deadhead it and see if it comes back and blooms again for me. We'll see if it gets a new growth right in the joint here. Either way, it was very pretty, and I probably didn't get it at its prime for you. It's hard because there's several things blooming new each week. And I don't want to bore you with every week doing the perennial garden. And you haven't seen my veggie garden because you can only see so many tomatoes and cucumbers growing. Okay, but I will show you it. After this video, I'll do a veggie video. But in the perennial garden, it changes all the time. That's what you want. You want enough variety. Doesn't have to be hard to grow. A lot of these are natives or invasive plants. But it gives me a lot of color for a long period of time. This time of the year, I usually don't feed the birds because I want them to eat the bugs that are in my garden. And it works pretty good. Yeah, they work the garden in the morning usually. And in the late afternoon. I do leave volunteers come. Now, I don't put sunflower seeds out here that the birds will poop the seeds. My neighbor does, and somebody brings them over here. I use safflower seed and no mess seed. But they have plenty to eat in here. A lot of gold, right? This time of the year. Baptisia has such pretty seed pods on it that will be turning black soon. So that black contrast on the blue-green foliage is pretty. I weeded my path. I have 3 stone paths, and I weed them about once a month. Some more volunteer sunflowers. I let them come up here and there. If they're in between the cracks on the stone, I pull them out. Now, I want to show you something that I do, especially near the paths. You've heard me talk about twigging, and I use it so the flower doesn't flop into the path. It stays supported. I cut down a lot of red twig dogwood in the winter months and use it for twigging so things don't fall over. Flowers don't fall over, not things. Oh, Japanese beetles are back. We beetle pick at least twice daily. Tiger lilies are going to be popping soon. That orange is going to look pretty. Again, the arch back there. I cut the oregano down, almost to about 6 inches, so it blooms later. It was just getting too large, and then it would take away from this daylily I have here. So I'll have something else flowering in this area later in the season. That's a new planting. I had a couple coleus left over, and I put chicken wire around them until I pepper spray them a couple times, and the leaves will look yucky or taste yucky to the bunnies. So I leave it for about a couple weeks. This is so dry under this tree here. So dry. I'm constantly putting amendments on the soil, mostly grass clippings right now. I cut back my feverfew in hopes that the cutting back part, like deadheading, will bloom again up here off of, whoop, look at you. We're going to, I was going to squish them. But new growth will come from the bottom too, and that'll bloom in autumn. But this here I was hoping would grow too. If not, if it starts looking too yucky, I cut it down to the new foliage down here, and I'll have white again later in the season. I am brutal when I weed and cut back this sedum. Just take it by the handfuls, pull, and put it in a bucket on the burn pile, or the compost pile. in the Salome series, I think. A lot of milkweed. And I haven't seen that many monarchs yet. I don't know what they're waiting for. Maybe it's a little later when they come. But I leave it up for them. If it goes too crazy, I do deadhead it or pull it out. I don't even deadhead it. I pull it out right at the root if I get too much in the garden here. In the wild area, it's not growing that much. It could go crazy back there, but it likes it in my garden. Lots of honeybees this year. I'm so sorry for the jerkiness sometimes here. If you would come over and view it with me walking, it would be a lot more stable. It would be your eyes instead of my camera. Today I deadheaded and twigged up perennials for a few hours. And Mom deadheaded for a couple hours and she can't resist weeding, so she weeds for me too. But I told her to concentrate on deadheading so I get rebloom. Under that barn roof vent is my 16-year-old puppy. No more dogs for me. No, I don't know the name. I call it Wow. I just cut back all the borage. I'll be deadheading that bee balm, and it should bloom again. And if it rains, it would help it. But if it's too dry, even if I deadhead, it's not going to bloom again. It's going to probably get powdery mildew or just dry up. My scarlet runner bean doing exactly what I wanted it to do. So I'm going to say goodbye now because I only have about 3 more minutes on this, and I'll take you down to the wild area. But I want to thank you for tuning into my channel and coming on these walks with me. And then if it just stops abruptly, you know it's because I ran out of time. Thank you, my friends, and have a great summer and gardening season. May your harvests be plentiful.